Carol Ofori.
So it is KZN's number one hit music station. And of course, this is the month of June. In South Africa, it's celebrated as a month for the youth. And for more than 50 years, brave young people of 1976 changed the course of our nation's history. A new generation faces a different kind of battle, not against apartheid, but against unemployment, against broken promises, service delivery issues, and growing belief that their votes simply just don't matter. Now, as South Africa prepares for the upcoming local municipal elections, one question really remains. Have young people given up on politics, or has politics given up on young people? And now this morning, we're having such an important conversation on this very important day, being June 16. We're unpacking the conversation around young people and finding out if young people are heading to the polls come 4 November, when everybody will have a moment to put their X for someone at the polls in the municipal elections. Now, to help me unpack this very important conversation ahead of the 4th of November, I've got two very inspirational young people who are doing amazing things in different fields. I've got Okuhle Gwala, who is a skills development facilitator for the Umngeni Unemployment Graduates Forum, also a youth organization dedicated to empowering young people and opening doors to employment. Armed with a Bachelor of Arts degree majoring in politics and philosophy, as well as an honors degree in philosophy, is proving that education, purpose, and action can be a very powerful combination. And also on the line to chat to me, I've got Nosipho Memela, who is a honors graduate in agricultural management from the University of KZN, a peer educator empowering students through the HIV and AIDS support unit. She's also the coordinator of the Women of Worth Movement Society, and a pageant queen who's proving that intelligence, leadership, and confidence are the ultimate crown. Now, welcome to you both, Okuhle as well as Nosipho. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Carol. Thank you for having us on the show.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Carol, for the invite. I am very happy to be a part of this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, today is June 16. Let me start with you, Nosipho. You've worked with organizations focused on youth development, health, as well as empowerment. And what has spending time in these different communities taught you about the biggest challenges that young people face?
It's been such a great experience working with young people. However, seeing the challenges that they face is a very heartbreaking experience. Since I work with communities in local municipalities, I've seen that most young people, they struggle with having access to resources, especially resources for their healthcare. And also, I've experienced that most young people are unemployed, and that is very discouraging and depressing for them. They literally do not know what to do with their lives, how to keep a positive mindset.
This is, very concerning. I mean, we just come out of a cycle where the unemployment numbers were staggering. It's literally almost 40% of South Africans are unemployed, and a big margin of that is young people. Now, you're on the ground. What have you seen and heard? I mean, you mentioned that psychologically it affects young people emotionally in every element, but as a lived experience for someone who doesn't grasp it, what are we talking about? What does it look like?
Since you've mentioned that I'm a peer educator, so I serve at a university community. So we have students coming back to school to further their studies. And then when you ask them, why are you back? They'll be like, at home, there's nothing to do. So it's better to come back to school and maybe further my qualification, as I believe that will give me opportunities in the workplace, only to find out when they further their studies, still there's no job opportunities, and that really affects them psychologically. So it's not a good experience, because sometimes the only inspiration for young people to go back to school is so that they get more opportunities, which doesn't really happen. They even go to an extent of going and studying in debts, hoping that in the future they'll get a job and be able to pay off their fees, which sometimes leads to them dropping out or graduating and still not being able to get their qualification certificate. So studies have become a coping mechanism so that they do not just sit at home and do nothing.
I mean, that is heartbreaking, because you become overqualified and then you can't even get the basic job because you are too qualified, and then you're sitting with debt. Okuhle, this is where I bring you in. in now. You work in skills development as a skills development facilitator at the Umngeni Unemployed Graduates Forum. I mean, this is straight up your alley. What is your experience with unemployment and our youth and young people?
It's a very disheartening situation, if I may put it in that way, Carol. It's very, very difficult to sort of like motivate young people that everything will be okay with the current situation that we are facing. Usually, with my experience, we usually work with unemployed graduates, and I can tell you that most of them, they have qualifications that are not even catered for the current skills that they need in this current economy that we are living in South Africa. So you'll find that maybe most people are qualified, or most people are qualified in fields that are already overqualified. So you find that their qualifications do not match the current skills or the current demand that the economy wants here in South Africa. It's a disheartening situation because we are dealing with youth people who are sort of like giving up that the South African government or the South African economy can provide something for them. So, yeah, it's a disheartening situation, if I can put it like that.
Okuhle, you say you work with these graduates all the time. This then plays into the big question that I'm really getting into here is around young people seeing, the voting polls as the place to get the answers, or is it just a distraction and waiting in long queues with no change? How do you see from the experience you have with what young people think about voting and the power that it holds or the power it doesn't hold?
So most of them think that by not voting or by not going to the polls, they are sort of like protesting in silence, if I may put it that way, to the South African government. But if I were to analyze it, I would think that by them not voting, I think they are not exercising their democratic rights, because by not voting, you are already placing yourself at a disadvantage. Why? Because if somebody else voted and most of those people maybe are not facing the current situations that you are facing as young people, maybe they are past their youth, most of the decisions are going to cater to them. One thing I want to maybe put forth is that democracy, guys, is sort of like a long journey. It's not something that happens overnight. So by them voting, they can make an effective change, and especially voting for the people that cater to their needs, that cater to the current situations that they are facing. So they should go to the polls.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. Nosipho, from your experience, what do you think is stopping young people from going to the polls? Or do you think that this year we will see a huge turnout?
No, I don't think we'll see a positive turnout. Reason being, prior to this session, I did a little survey that I sent to young people in my community and at the university space, and their replies are very negative. They literally do not believe in voting because they believe that the government doesn't meet their needs, and also they don't give resolutions to the challenges that we are facing. So they are very discouraged, and I do hope that they can change their mindsets and think about the positivity of what if they voted. Because I think now the voting policy and rights are very flexible. We can even elect each other as young people, to represent one another, and I think that will make things very easy and very effective, since as young people we understand each other's issues and we relate more with one another. As Okuhle has shared with you, that the problem that we also have is that our current leaders have already passed their youth stage, so it's very difficult for them to bring a resolution that works for our needs.
I mean, 100%. I agree with you. And I guess my curiosity sits with the fact that we are a country that saw drastic change because of the youth. Where do you think is the disconnect? I mean, I'm asking as an older person, is it that the children or the youth of today don't understand the history and the impact voting has on changing history? Or is it because they don't really understand the impact that a vote makes in an election, especially a municipal election, where you get to see your actual district change?
I think it's not the fact that us as young people, we don't see a power in voting. I think most people have lost faith in the custodians of our democracy. They've lost faith in our leaders that are elected because they are not exercising their power rightfully. If you look at it, South African democracy is 30 years old. we have had one dominant party at the national and provincial levels. For many young people, the democracy and the party that has been ruling us for the vast majority of our democracy are synonymous. You cannot sort of like differentiate between them. So it is a matter of maybe losing faith in our leaders. But that's why it is important for them to exercise their democratic right.
100%. Nosipho, you want to weigh in?
Yes, I also believe that it's not that they do not understand the impact of their votes, but then it's the constant disappointment that we've been getting as young people, because like when we vote, we do believe that there'll be a difference. However, not seeing that difference makes us feel that it doesn't matter whether we vote or do not vote. Nothing will happen. No change is coming. No one is going to save us from the difficult experiences that we are having, especially with regards to employment. So young people are having a negative mindset. However, I do believe that they should try to change it. And I think it's better to try than not to. And we also need to maybe conduct research before we vote, have an intense look at the promises that the municipality is promising and look whether is that specific part that we're going to vote for, does it speak to our needs? Does it promises come with resolutions that are going to fix our problems?
Right. And you mentioned that you did some research on your campus and in your community around the reluctance to vote. What other findings can you share with us about, the feelings on the ground from young people?
To be honest, only 40% of the young people from my survey were looking forward to voting, and which means the majority, which is 60%, they do not look forward. And their reasons vary, but mostly it's unemployment rate. Young people are really complaining about unemployment rate, regardless of their qualifications. Secondly, is poor service from our governance, service from the clinics, inadequate resources, and also in the education system. Most young people do believe that if the infrastructure and resources in education can be improved, maybe young people can have a better experience and opportunities, and maybe they can even equip skills during their lower education level than waiting to go to university and only having a theoretical education, which is very difficult to continue making a life with, because theory is very different from practical. So should you not get a job, can you use the skills that you acquired through your education to make a life?
Nosipho, what do you say to young people listening right now to encourage them to go to the polls?
I would say your voice matters too. It's better to vote than not to, because as a young person, you are a voice of the voiceless. You are the future of our country. Your needs might not be met at present, but then voting will open opportunities in the future, not only for you, but for other young people that are coming after you. So it is very important to take up space and use your rights. If you do not vote, you are giving your power to someone else. So I would encourage young people to make means that we might not see that difference right away like now, but I do believe that in the future there will be much difference, especially if we are active, because the future is in our hands. It's only us who can change our current circumstances, and that can only be done by amplifying our voice and taking up space.
Absolutely. And let's have a little bit of fun here. Okuhle, if you could design the perfect municipality that looks out for young people, what would the top 3 priorities be that you feel would be so important that would change the lives of that community for young people?
If I may look at it from a lens of sort of like a lens of Umngeni, a place where I live. First things first, infrastructure. I think it is important. It is important that people actually have internet access. I mean, still in 2026, we are still saying some people don't have a simple thing such as internet connectivity, reliable water, reliable healthcare facilities, reliable libraries where people can go and research. The second thing I would say is safety and public space. I think young people need spaces where they can gather, where they can organize and exist. We need parks for young people. We need community halls that are open and programmable. We need streets that are safe to walk in at night. We have sort of like a pandemic of GBV here in Popomini, especially in KwaZulu-Natal. And number 3, it is economic activation. What is our municipality doing with that? I think Nosipho mentioned that not all of us can go to varsity. Also, not all of us can go to TVET colleges. Some of us are essentially built to be entrepreneurs. What does a municipality do to provide skills such as that? And what is the municipality youth budget look like to fund stuff like that, to make the community young leaders to be more skilled? How do we ensure that our communities, our townships are economically viable for young people to prosper in?
If you had to describe the mood of South African youth today in one word, Okuhle, what would that word be?
I would like to think it's a dull mood, honestly. It's dull. Most of them are not motivated enough to go and vote. But then most of them do not know that they are sort of like giving their power up to someone else. But I would think it's dull. Yes, it's dull. They do not have enough faith in our government. They do not have enough faith in our democracy. And essentially, they do not have enough faith. Why? Because the government is failing them, essentially. So yes, I think it's done.
And I'm throwing it at you, Nosipho. If you had to describe the mood of South African youth today in one word, what would you say and why?
I would say the mood is neutral. There's a lot of coping mechanisms that young people are experiencing. As I did mention that if you look at the social media, we are just happy, playing music, doing trends. That is like a coping mechanism, because if you go in depth and like do a follow-up on their psychological status, you can see that no, their mental state is not at a good point. Because when you speak to them, you'll be like, what else would I do? I'd rather just be happy because there's nothing that I can do. So our mood is very neutral, because also when you do speak to other young people that have made it in life, you can see that they are very optimistic and they have a different perspective when it comes to our governance and our needs being met.
And as we get to the end of our conversation, the future is bright for our youth. What do you say to that, Okuhle?
I think it is. It's 50-50. I think it is bright. It's just waiting for us to actually go and make it bright.
And Nosipho, the future is bright for our youth. What do you say to that?
I say yes, but then the future is only bright for young people who understand that positive impact begins with inclusivity, empowerment, creating safe spaces and opportunities, not only for yourself, but for other young people to thrive. So we need to be a youth that is not greedy. We need to be an optimistic and an opportunistic youth that is not willing to improve our lives only, but to also improve the lives of other young people, even the young people that come after us.
Beautiful. I couldn't thank you enough. Wishing you both, I'm hoping a happy Youth Month. I hope we do see more opportunities for young people, more growth, and just more good stuff. You are both unbelievably phenomenal. It's incredible that we've got such incredibly visionary youth in our community, and I can only imagine what more if I go out and meet more young people that you engage with. So thank you so much to you both for chatting to me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That is Okuhle Gwala, who is a skills development facilitator for the Umngeni Unemployment Graduates Forum, as well as Nosipho Memela, who is a peer educator and also a graduate of agricultural management from the University of KwaZulu-Natal, as well as a coordinator at the Women of Worth Movement Society.
Carol Ofori, weekdays 9 a.m. till 12, East Coast Radio.